Gentlemen, congratulations on Doors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, the funniest thing is I was telling people that I was covering this event, and I was trying to tell them it's not the musicians I'm covering. It's it's a portal.
The name is confusing. There's a lot of doors out there. A lot of doors.
Lots of doors.
A lot of different meanings for doors.
The first like Reddit subreddit that blew up was like the sequel to Doors. It's the Afterlife.
I mean, I'm okay with that, honestly.
Yeah, okay with that too. Maybe that's actually what we're talking about.
That's true. One of the doors could probably lead to the Doors.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it leads to Jim Morrison somewhere in an alternate dimension, still doing his thing. I don't know.
Hey, so gentlemen, tell me where the original idea actually came from, and how did it become sort of like an anthology from this?
Well, when our producer Chris White and I kind of linked up probably about 4 years ago, and we talked about kind of creating this anthology. He was working with Brad Miska. They worked on like VHS together, and they've been collaborators. And I think I kind of told them like it'd be cool to kind of go in more of a sci-fi direction than specifically kind of horror. And then we just kind of assembled the team slowly, starting from my segment, and then Dugan jumped aboard in 2017, and then Jeff jumped on 2018. So it's this kind of slow burn ride. It just kind of grew slowly, I think, as we were kind of telling the stories, which was nice, because I think we didn't have to sort of like force it and smash it all together. It just kind of, they all kind of like synced together over time. Yeah.
So all three of you came up with your own story for Doors. Were there like rules that was actually set in place to create your version of your anthology? Did you basically kind of bounce ideas off of each other, or you basically try to separate your story and just follow just the common theme of the door space dimension?
Well, I mean, for at least I was, speaking on for myself. I don't know if Jeff was actually on yet. Like, I think Jeff and Saman were talking once we were doing ours, right? I think.
Yeah.
I think for us, Saman did his first, which is obviously in the middle chunk of the movie. But I think and since Saman was co-wrote everything with us and kind of was helping steer the story, but we always thought that our that the last the one that I did would be last. So and also happened to be we wanted to do something more kind of in the woods. Also, I was in the Vermont for the summer. So that played a big part to how we shaped that part of the story. So yeah, I think it was very organic. So that's kind of how it was for us. I mean, it was just like a constant back and forth, and just making sure it would fit as the end of the movie, as opposed to like you do this part, you do this, and it just it was very organic. Yeah. But that's how it was for us.
And I remember with Dugan's segment too. Remember Dugan? We always kind of liked the idea that it didn't sort of feel like way too epic. It got like really like just grounded and like personal.
Yeah.
Those were kinds of the conversations we would have when we were talking about how we would start it, how we would end it, and how after mine people would expect it to get bigger, but we would just go the opposite direction.
Yeah, make it more like this relationship with the door, this character-based relationship. I thought was really fun, like a friendship.
Yeah, Jeff, did you wanna answer the question?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was similar, but I think you had your fingers in every pie sort of a thing. You were definitely
a lot of fingers in pies.
Yeah, a lot of fingers, lots of pies.
So many fingers in pies.
Certainly in my pie. I think you sort of made sure that like there was like an overarching theme to everything, and I felt like we couldn't, there was definitely sort of a Bible that we had to stick to, as to not lean too much in one direction or another direction. But yeah, I mean, within that, we were pretty free to do what we wanted. And as for my segment, I know that, like, also I was aware it was the first one, and it's going to open it, and it was also sort of the one that was the catalyst for that sort of showed the events unfold, for the first time, as it happened in the film.
Obviously, one of the things that I found while watching it, this is a sci-fi film, but it kind of had that elements of horror in its own way. Was it hard not to push those horror elements in your story anthology, your individual stories, because it could easily went that direction?
I think all three of us aren't really like horror guys. So I think for us, we were kind of being a little fanboy, but at the same time, we were just kind of doing our own thing. I think if anything, I think most of our instincts were kind of, I don't know, I don't want to speak for Dugan and Jeff, but I feel like all of us never really felt like it was too easy to go down that direction. If anything, we kind of asked ourselves, is it there enough? But I don't know. I guess I'll let you, Dugan and Jeff, kind of jump in on that.
Yeah, I think I think there was times where I felt like we needed to push it a little, like just have a little bit of, at least for our piece, a little bit more tension in that space of kind of a little bit like knowing our audience, but still like always keeping, more in the sci-fi space. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, kind of keeping the scare like more like cerebral, rather than sort of like visceral, like just kind of, I do a lot of psychedelics, and I've had my fair share of really bad trips. So like that shit's scary to me, so trying to keep it kind of in the head space of horror, but it not being like visually or viscerally as horror-y.
Well, what about for you, Jeff? Because a lot of yours was involving young actors in the dark.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely we were coasting on the edge, to like it being horror. But I think like Saman had this great word for it. He called it Zen horror. He kept calling it Zen horror, which I didn't know at the time what it was, and I still not entirely sure if I know what it is. But it's sort of like a more ethereal horror, where it's like it's less reliant on jump scares and the likes, but more something where it's more like imbued in the atmosphere of the piece.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, there were thousands of doors, all over the planet. Do you guys already have in mind for more stories about these doors?
I don't think so. But now that you say it like that, I actually feel like, wow, there's so many.
There's a lot of doors.
There's a lot of different versions of the story, which is, I think, is so fun about the movie,
Yeah, I mean, I have to also, I'm trying to remember too, but I think with both Jeff and Dugan, like we kind of had alternate versions. Like, remember, Jeff, we had like the pool. Remember, we had like a gym pool one, yeah. and then I think, and then Dugan, we always kind of had like different variations that we were kind of dancing around before. I don't really remember them, but
there was an early version of the script. Well, I wouldn't even say the script, because it was like a completely different script that took place in like Yucca Valley, Joshua Tree.
Yes.
With like some more like even further direction, in the direction of like preppers, and so yeah, I feel like it's a really fun thing because of the doors. It can tie these different stories and characters all over the world together. So yeah, I think there's a lot of potential for sure. And maybe we should talk about it, guys.
Maybe there will be another anthology series.
Number 2. Yeah.
Number 2. Well, gentlemen, hey, thank you very much for speaking with me. It's a delight, and you know what? Can't wait to open one of those doors and finally meet the doors themselves. Hopefully, maybe that'll come later.
Yeah. Psychedelics will take you there, my friend. I promise.
That is true. Well, hey, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.